everybody. Hey, hope you all been well. Yeah, I'm excited to make a new video and post again. Trying to kick off the year with better quality content and just more things that I'm very passionate about. But most importantly of all is to help you guys just get into the genres and garbage that I love and enjoy. Because at the end of the day, that's the whole point of this channel. So, what better way to do that than with a book review on something that I really, really love and is really passionate about. And I am glad that there's a book. This is a book that came out in 2016 by Head Press. This is Fight Your Own War, Power-Electronics and Noise Culture. And I love the back here. There's a little pedal that says, "This machine kills fascists." So you know you're in for a good time. So yeah, I think probably the thought that comes into your head is actually the first line of this book, which says, "Who the hell needs a book about power electronics?" That was a question I was asked more than once while putting together the volume you now hold in your hands. But yes, we very much do need a fantastic book just like this. So, this is a book that is by Jennifer Wallace, who is the editor, and the contributor is Richard Stevenson, and if that name sounds familiar, he is the person in charge of the Spectrum Compendium zine. And I unfortunately don't own that one yet, but I will post a picture so you can see what it is. Not just this book that says it, but I've also heard such fantastic things about that zine, so I'm very excited to check it out. But yes, so this is a great, very zine-like book, which is on purpose, as Jennifer says in the introduction, that pretty much discusses in 3 parts the history, performance, and themes of power electronics, noise, harsh noise wall, a little bit of free jazz even, industrial. Yeah, this is a really great, interesting book. And the best part about it, interesting thing, is that it's a book set up in 3 parts. Part 1 is scenes, so basically how power electronics came to the UK, the rise of power electronics in Finland, the rise of power electronics in the US, Australia gets its own chapter. Part 2 is all about the performance of power electronics and noise, the comedy in some of the performance, the power, the themes, the elements, how different bands feel about different approaches to performing this type of music. And lastly is reading, so how a lot of people feel about the topics and content of power electronics, which is very important and a point of contention for a lot of these genres. But the fantastic thing about it is that each individual chapter in this book is all written by a different person. There's women writers in here, there are people from all around the world, so many different perspectives are in this, which makes this book absolutely fantastic. In fact, there is a article or a chapter specifically on White House's transition to cut hands and bands discovering new sounds and rhythms by Jack Sargent, who is the author of the wonderful Death Tripping book. This book is all about the no-wave cinema, the cinema transgression that I had done a video on earlier. And I'd actually done that video without having read this book. I actually didn't know much about this book, or couldn't find it in that time, and I would love to redo and revisit that video because I want to I want to put out the absolute best content that I can, the most research that I can, so I'll probably revisit that topic after I finish this fantastic book. But yes, this author is a contributor to this book as well. So that is awesome. Yeah, and one of the last chapters is by a female artist that goes by Brew, and it's absolutely fantastic. It has some amazing quotes in it, as well as some wonderful pictures, lots of pictures of this, some pictures of her performance art. And I'll recite a few quotes in a bit of this book. My whole goal is basically to entice you to read this. There's, like I said, there's chapters on like the comedy of noise, or how it's inherently funny, which I believe as well. That was a great chapter. The other cool thing about this book is just like the conflicting point of views. Literally during like a page or a chapter of like how artists feel about their performance, it'll have two different like perspectives on it. It'll talk about how one artist in an interview talks about how they need to prepare for everything and planning is the most important, and then another artist will be right underneath it and be like, oh, we don't even know who's going to perform that day. We're just going to do it off the cuff. I think it's great that there's just so many different perspectives on here. Another cool thing about the setup here is that not only after every chapter do you get a note section that has lots of recommendations for further reading, like basically where they got all their interviews, any books that they got it from, so more stuff for you, the reader, to check out and see all their sources. But at the end of every chapter, there's these black pages that have another random artist. This one, actually, Richard Stevenson himself, recommending an album. So I actually had a whole notebook with me that was full of just recs and stuff that even I hadn't heard of. Lots of compilations, too, that I didn't know about that I gleaned from this book, which is always fantastic. One of the main reasons I love to read these, because I always want to hear stuff that people find very important in these genres or just love and gush about, and also historical stuff that gets, not talked about a lot. So, yeah, getting these is really cool. After each chapter, you get just like a random album. One of these albums is super obscure that I'm having a hard time even finding it. Yeah, there's an album I can't even find, which is Death Tripping, which is actually named after that book. Death Tripping's I Love You This Much. I can't find it on the Bluebird. I find it on Rachel Music, but I can't find it anywhere else. I don't know. My Google Foo might be bad. But yeah, super cool stuff. Like I said, they go into discussion of like how people feel about certain topics. I think, like I said, there's a lot of conflicting views in this. I will say, as an elephant in the room, there is an article that's written by a Miko Aspa, and if you know that, that is the person behind Clandestine Blaze, I believe. And they're a pretty unsavory character. They aren't that great, but they do have an article about the rise of power electronics in Finland, which is an interesting read. They don't say anything bad or terrible or edgy or whatever in this. But I love that. So he'll have an article in this, just how history, and then like what's her name? Brew, her name is Sonia Dietrich. She'll have an article and she just talks about these people and how they bring down the genre and like how poor these people are, like with just their act and like saying these awful things that they do, which I think is great, because I feel like when you really get into a genre, people tend to like mentally put these genres an umbrella and everybody under it and think that everyone shares the same ideas and values, which they 100% don't. A lot of these artists don't even know each other, play with each other, and they all have a different set of values and ideas, and definitely different quality in music. And this book really brings that to the table, which I really, really loved, all the different perspectives. So now, let me entice you with some nice quotes. Also, there's a great index that it links all photographer links, like it gives you some online links to check out. Again, more citations. They go into depth for every single contributor and a little bit backstory and history on each person, which is great to discover more about them, because you might not know a lot about these people. There's a fantastic index that brings up absolutely every like album and band that was recommended in the book. Again, really, really cool. So, let's start. There's so many fantastic quotes from Brew. And she talks about basically, about, what's her article called? Sorry, I should be more prepared for this. Her whole The Killjoy of White Noise. It's about, women and queer people and non-white people, their struggle in the power electronic scene, which is very important to talk about. And I'm so glad they talk about it in this book. Her final quote, she's got a lot of artists have some great pictures in this. The final quote she has is, which is great because today is National Women's Day. I think this is a really powerful quote, and it inspires me to want to do more power electronics, my way. It says, "We, women, have to stop counting on our fingers people who support us and stand our ground. We should stop asking, could we, should we, and be thankful for every grain of respect. We should be brave, bold, and stand firm. Whichever is your way, whatever is your message, say it. Say it so loud, so fierce, and say it honestly. Stop being pressured by whoever wants to brainwash you about how you do this and you are that, how feminism is a sinister tool, how no one cares. Support your female artists, collaborate, make collectives, release records, go to demos, do research about our brave and long her story. Stop listening to messages on records that dehumanize you, that make you into an object, that promote hate towards you, that make you into a tool for pleasure. Stop promoting these acts, don't buy the records. You are more. You are a woman. You are Brew. Brew is a woman. A woman is a weapon." And that's the Brew manifesto. Really, really awesome. Yeah, in her chapter, she says, "In this chapter, I will mainly talk about power electronics and as a female performer, voice issues that myself and others have discussed privately." So that's just one of the many, many chapters. But like I said, there's tons of fun chapters in this. One I really love is "Farce the First Time Around, Encountering Noise as Comedy" by Paul McGree. And then he goes on to talk about his first time listening to avant-garde music, which was Let's Try Changing the Shape, which is a high note record, and just how he felt after it. Really, really well written and funny. A lot of people definitely have their own different styles of writing, which really tie this book together and make it excellent. And he talks about the Torture Nurse, which is a Chinese band, and just like them having fun and terrorizing the audience, and it's just like, I guess the answer, are there any conclusions to be drawn from poking these recollections with a metaphorical sharp stick? Is noise funny, basically? I guess the answer is kind of. It's not exactly intentional, rather it's the fact that anything so sonically gnarly and potentially transgressive has, within itself, the potential for comedy, whether it be a juxtaposition, or through subverting conventional performance practices, or even by undercutting its own self-aggrandizement. I don't know what that word is. But yeah, I really liked that one. That was great. One of my favorite ones, too, was this big, long discussion of harsh noise wall and how it's different than noise, and they even discussed a little bit of ambient noise wall and how it's kind of a meme, but it's also, like, really fun, and how it was fun to talk about because it killed gatekeepers in the genres, and it's always fun to kill gatekeepers, and especially in genres like this, and make them aggravated. Lots of histories of certain clubs which comes into effect, which is really cool. A lot of stuff obviously someone young like me doesn't know about, but it's great. Like, they have a whole chapter in the history of the Termite Club and British noise history and performance artists. Just really, really cool. Like I said, all different kinds of contributors to this. And there's a lot of information. It's got small print. So this is a fantastic introduction to the genres, especially noise, power electronics. I think all the different points of views, just seeing all the different kinds of artists and how they are in this genre, and lots of recs. I think if you're interested in getting into this genre, beyond just knowing about White House and all that, I think you should read this. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I'm happy I read it. I'm glad it exists. And like I said, this channel is dedicated to me trying to teach you guys all about this junk, and I think this is a great place to start. So, yeah, and it also references a bunch of zines, and people that contribute to these zines also are are in this book. So if you like any of these, then you will totally enjoy this book. So there's contributors from, of course, the legendary As Loud as Possible, which I'm so happy to own. I will be doing a full video on this eventually. So yes, super duper cool. Super happy. Yeah, they reference a lot. They reference that one in that book a lot too. Of course, Special Interest, the classic. Night Science, which I finally just got into. I got a few copies of these, which are great. They even come with a little mixed CD. Super cool. I got these right off of Chondriac Records from Grant Holder himself, because I like to support him. He just has like a lot of zines that he'll just randomly put up on Chondriac Sound, so definitely follow him on Twitter and get some good deals on these fantastic zines. But yeah, these are referenced in there. And then probably my favorite zine of all time that I've read now. This is Noise Receptor. This is a fantastic zine, and this is like an archive collection. And you can get this right on Amazon. This is the first 3 issues. I highly suggest it. And I didn't even know until before I made this video that this is also put out by Head Press, which is the same people that made this book. So there's that. So yes, if you are interested in any of these or topics, then you will like this book. I highly suggest these as well. So there's that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I had a few more quotes that I highlighted in this, but I think this is just something you should read and check out on your own, 100%. So yeah, don't let power electronics scare you. There are some shitheads in the scene, but there's a lot of great people. There's a lot of people that need more attention to them, that are working hard. This is just a really passionate genre, and I think everyone should check it out and love it. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching. We also have a Discord now, so if you'd like to join my Discord, just message me on Twitter and I'll give you a link. It's basically just everyone recommending each other's stuff and lots of shit posting and memes, but it's very chill, very laid back. We also have a whole text channel dedicated to like Yugoslavian music and Russian music and lots of foreign music. So we have lots of fantastic people from all over the globe that are contributing stuff that I'm certain you've never heard of before, which is great. That's what I wanted, because there's just so much awesome music out there. So yeah, if you want to join my Discord, just message me on Twitter and I will send you a link. So once again, thank you for watching so much, and I hope to bring more awesome content this year and convince you guys to check out all this stuff. So yeah, I will see you next time, so take care. Bye-bye.